We're all set.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. It is 6:05 p.m. This is June 1st, 2026. This is the second budget hearing for the Holyoke City Council. And we are joined by many wonderful department heads this evening. We're joined by the mayor. And in council chambers, I have Councilor Graney, Councilor Bacon, Councilor Purcell, Councilor Sullivan, Councilor Devine, Councilor Panich. I do have Councilor Anderson Burgos, and online we have Councilor McGrath Smith, Councilor Tallheimer, Councilor Jenny Rivera, and I don't think, oh, Councilor Masonette is here as well. And I think that's all I've got on Zoom. I don't see anyone else. So thank you all for being here. Great turnout. And this evening's meeting is being recorded. It is being translated live in Spanish, and we're not taking any votes tonight, so we don't have to do any other general housekeeping. But I will get this started, and I did have the opportunity. We're also joined on Zoom by TJ Plant, who has been working with us to help prepare this budget. So I know that first off, we do have the finance departments who are with us this evening. We have the tax collector, the assessor, purchasing, treasurer, and auditor. I see you all here tonight. Thank you so much. And just a shout out to our new auditor, Cheryl, is here. It's her first day, so no better way to kick off your employment with the city of Holyoke than a budget hearing. And so I would actually like to invite the finance department heads in. TJ and I talked a little bit about wanting to sort of set this up so that, you know, this is obviously a transition period for our city, and a lot of things are probably going to stay the same for this fiscal year, but as we're in the midst of a transition, I think it's really important that all of you have the opportunity to ask questions about the budget based on what's being presented tonight. So I would like to invite the finance department heads here, but I see Councilor Graney's hand.
Just quickly, a point of personal privilege, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
A request to the mayor that in the future that when a budget is printed, it is printed so that people that are sighting impaired can read it, because this is impossible for somebody that is sighting impaired to read. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. So at this time, I would like to invite our tax collector, assessor, purchasing, treasurer, auditor to come forward, and mayor as well. And as usual, as your cruise director this evening, I will let you know the page numbers where everything is going to be this evening. The tax collector is on page 21. The assessor is on page 20. Purchasing is on page 19. The treasurer is on page 20. And the auditor is on page 19.
Okay.
I will just remind folks that if your green microphone is lit up, that means your microphone is on. And make sure you're speaking directly into the microphone. And then, so from there, I would like to invite either TJ or the mayor to sort of set us up for what we can anticipate for this evening.
Mayor, I'll defer to you to start out if you want.
Yes. So we wanted to just make a few points before you dive into the financial department's department head budgets there. Obviously, as you heard Council President describe, that we're in the middle of these changes. So the budget in front of you still is business as usual. Individual departments, you got your tax collector separate from the treasurer, separate from the assessor, separate from the auditor's budgets. And as these positions get filled and we continue our search process for the CAFO and we reorganize and rearrange in the near future going into the new fiscal year, probably around fall time, if not sooner, there will be, at that time, once we're set up and we're ready to go, some orders coming in to move things around so we can support the consolidated budget at that time. But we are here now, and we wanted to make sure that the department heads were here together to help answer whatever questions you might have, since some of the changes, we're building this airplane as we fly it, so there's some overlap and some transitions going on, so we want to make sure that the team was here together to be able to effectively answer the questions. TJ, anything else?
Yeah, no, I'll just add quickly, Mayor, and through the President. This is definitely a new change, a sea change, if you will, for how Holyoke Finance Division is set up. But as we're going through the budget and budget development process, we had to make sure that each department was properly accounted for, budgeted, and the line items that they've needed. There will need to be changes because we're in the process of rebuilding the division, as I said. So there will be some other votes coming to the city council's way. But this is your opportunity as a city council to ask questions of the department that's here tonight.
Thank you. Councillor Bacon?
Thank you. Will we be getting the detail that we requested at the last budget hearing to back up the
Yes, so
large?
thank you for asking that.
Thank you.
Jeffrey did send out detailed budgets to us at about 3:30 for everyone to follow along with. That's okay, but yes, you do have access to all of those. And I don't believe there's hard copies right now, but I'm sure we could. Jeffrey, do you think we could pull them up on the
Yeah, I'm
screen?
prepared to pull them up. I started to print them out, but the print was so small that it would have been ridiculous to try and give you them on paper, but I can screen share
Okay.
them.
Okay. And
thank
then,
you.
yes, absolutely. And everything's in a shared folder that Jeffrey made today. So thank you, everyone. And all right, with that, TJ, Mayor, how would you like to go through these? Should we just go through in order, or is there more that you would like to?
Department by department is probably the preferable way to do it.
Okay, got it. All right, so on page 21, we have the tax collector's budget. And we have our tax collector here, Laura. Thank you for being here. And what I've been doing with all the other departments is just, as usual, kind of if there are things that are different from last year or things you want us to know that you're working on or might need us to be aware of, I think that's how we were handling it before. Councillor Graney?
Quickly, again, I don't want to complain, but there was no line item numbers on these that I can see.
So there are, as was mentioned before, and the email that Jeffrey did send out that is up on the screen does have org numbers. So I can definitely help read them as we go. Recognize it might not be ideal, but we did get the information everyone was looking for. So I am happy to go through them, but also the last time we were looking through the budget, it was just kind of pointing out the items that you might want us to pay note to. So if folks have specific questions, I can try to help facilitate. Sound good? Yes.
1 second. Sorry. Now, if there's more information that's required or requested, organ object is what's on the second and third column is your line item budget. That tells you where it is. But if you want more detail as part of the chart of accounts, you just let us know and we'll figure out a way to get it to you. But all you
Thank you.
generally need as a city council is the org code and the object code. And those are the
Yes. And I do believe that is what Counselor Graney is looking for, because that's usually the information that is typically presented. That being said, this information was made available to Jeffrey today, so it was sent out this afternoon.
Great.
Thank you, TJ. Laura?
Good evening, Council. My budget has remained essentially the same for the last 4 years that I have been here. The only thing really worth noting this year is the $1,000 stipend, because I finally became certified, so that is a new line. And then 1, 2, 3, 4th line up from the bottom, it says central copier, but that is actually for parking ticket books. And that increase is because of the cost of the actual parking ticket books. There's like one company that still does that, and they are very expensive. Other than that, I will take any questions if you have any.
For folks that are following along, the central copier line item, the org is 11462 and 54210. Does anyone have questions on the tax collector's budget? Counselor Bacon.
Thank you. Thanks for coming down and congratulations on getting your certification. My question is on the pay line. It looks like a fairly significant increase, but it's hard to see what would make that up.
Are we talking about the first one?
Yes, because we have just all of the pay in one line, and I think it's showing an increase of around 82,000.
So that would include, we did reclassifications for revenue collection specialists in the office. So that includes 2 revenue collection specialists, my assistant, the assistant tax collector, and then we also have an administrative assistant who works the front counter. So that is for a total of 5 of us.
So is that one additional position or 2?
It was, well, the revenue collection specialist, it changed, so it became two people, but it was initially an admin and a revenue collection specialist, and then we added another administrator.
Okay, so plus 1.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Counselor Greeny.
Yes, does this new position include benefits and medical and everything?
Yes, but this position isn't really new. It was a position that we had. We just hadn't. It wasn't filled.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a new position for the fiscal year. It was just a position that hadn't been filled.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Anyone on Zoom? All right. I'm not seeing anyone else, so then we would move on to Assessor, which is page 20. And we do have, okay, page 20. Hold on, sorry. Hi, Deb. Hi. How are you? Thank you. All right, so Deb, again, same thing. If there's, you can highlight anything you want us to just be aware of.
There's really no changes to my budget. Few increases.
Is your microphone on? Is it is?
It is on the screen.
That's weird. Can you guys on Zoom? I just want to make sure. Can you hear it?
No.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
It was, now it's really green.
Okay. There we go. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
I don't have many changes to my budget. A few increases in personnel services, which are minor, and My expenses are basically the same as they were last year.
Thank you, Deb. Does anyone have any questions for our assessor? Any on Zoom? All right. I'm not seeing any, Deb, so thank you.
Okay.
Next up, we have purchasing, which is page 19. And our director of purchasing is here, Jamie.
So I'm going to echo Deb's sentiment. Basically, my budget is pretty similar to what it was before. If you look at the FY26 revised, and then the only difference is Deb and I would be sharing a employee. So we're going to hire one person that would be split between two offices to try to mitigate the most cost and, support the staff levels here. So the additional increase in personal services would be a salary line for a shared administrative position between myself and the assessor's office. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward and similar from last year's budget hearing.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for purchasing? I see Councilor McGrath-Smith.
Thank you. I was just wondering if you could speak to the added position in terms of why it was being added and how it would be shared.
I'm happy to, Megan. Thanks for the question. We, as you know, the purchasing office touches every single department in the city. Currently, it's myself and an accounts payable specialist. For this year, purchasing has done the most amount of procurements in the city's history. As we support everybody, and we have the smallest staff in the city's history. Historically, the purchasing department was made up of 3 at the minimum, 4 at the maximum, and my office has been operating with 2 staff people since Ted had left. We had an assistant chief, and when we sat down to look at adding another position, we determined that it was better to add a administrative position to help mitigate costs. When we hired an assistant chief, that was a much higher level position. So to try to support the budget and the budget constraints, we're taking a shared person between myself and the assessors. We're extremely busy. I'm at 56 full-blown procurements for the year, and just to echo what it's the most in the city's history. We need a little bit of support in that office, or I'm fearful that we will not be able to meet the demanding needs of, everything that's going on here.
Can you speak to why procurement has been going up?
The projects are going up. We've looked at deferred maintenance over the years, so the mayor's kind of made it a priority to tackle some of these projects, look for funding with the help of, TJ now. We're really trying to address some of the deferred maintenance issues in the city. We have Chapter 90 money for paving. We're just trying to, everything needs to be procured. Anything over $10,000 flows through my office. So whether, Pouliot Pool's a good example that just went out. We have maintenance contracts that are up every 3 years. It's just ARPA, even though ARPA's done, there's still been some procurements around it. I actually thought this year would be slower because we don't have any more ARPA money to spend, but I was shocked. It's the busiest year we've ever had in the office.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to expand on that too for the counselor, and also to her office. A big department is the schools, and she does a lot of work for the schools. And Jamie is just extremely efficient and proactive in her work. And so, departments like that, and they want to engage with their office to get stuff done. But she's absolutely correct, and the same holds true for the assessor's office, both who were requesting for full-time admin support. And so, trying to be as supportive as we can with both department needs while also navigating this transition in the new finance model. We thought it'd be better because, it was the assistant position that she had, instead of going forward with filling an assistant position, which is much more. Instead, we said, hey, look, why don't we get a shared admin position and see and get these two departments the support that we can right now on the interim as we transition into this new model, because it is our anticipation and hope that under the new model, we can find some better support and efficiencies. But even at that time, let's say the departments are still having their challenges, we can revisit the conversation and see how we can continue to support them. So this admin support shared between the departments was a response to them to, help them, but in a most budget-friendly, conscious way as we navigate these changes, Counselor.
Thank you.
Counselor Bacon?
Thank you. This may be getting into the weeds a little, but I heard you say pool yacht pool. And I've had some concerns expressed about it being open on time, and I was wondering about the size of the bid that you're seeking, and if it's a long, big project or a short, quick one.
So I don't want to, release too much, but you're all going to be pleased. We had a positive result from the bidding process, which is why we do it. And I think everyone's going to be pleased at what's coming ahead for Pool Yacht Pool, but I don't want to steal Moquin's thunder.
Okay.
So,
Okay, we'll read the tea leaves.
all right.
Okay. Just a heads up, I believe it's been made oh, that's funny, Moquin's here. It's been, Jeffrey just let me know the feed isn't going out on channel 15. So the meeting is being recorded and obviously it's accessed through Zoom, but it sounds like we're having some audio issues. So I'm just letting folks know that I've been made aware of that. And Johan is working on it. So hopefully we'll, or he's going to, but we'll just a heads up. Counselor Bacon, were you all set with that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else for the purchasing department, procurement? All right, thank you. Up next, we have the treasurer's office, and that is page 20. And the same thing, if there's anything.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest change here is that you'll see a large reduction in the personnel services line, and that's because of the merger of the treasurer collector that's anticipated to happen soon after the beginning of the new fiscal year. Other than that, there's not really many changes. There are some additional requests as it relates to the expense lines, namely postage. There's been a number of postal rate increases. I don't know if folks are aware of that. The amount of certified mail that we're having to send out as well has grown exponentially, as well as the vendor that we use to process our tax billing, our property tax billing. They, this past year, had been essentially giving us free postage and said they were no longer going to be doing that. So we're paying for things that we hadn't previously had to pay for, but are necessary for us to send out. Obviously, we have to send everybody their tax bills. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I mean, this is obviously a budget that I don't expect to be executing, or not even expect, I won't be the one executing it, but I helped prepare it, so I'm here to answer any questions that may come up or that the council may have.
Thank you. Counselor Greeny?
Yeah, just quickly to the treasurer, to TJ. I'm just curious, with the reorganization of all these different positions, I'd like to know where the $100,000 savings in personnel is going to come. If you could explain that to me. We were told as a city council that there was going to be $100,000 savings by this reorganization. So I'd like to have some details.
I can explain a little bit of that.
I saw
If TJ would
TJ.
like to. Yeah, go ahead, TJ.
No, the biggest thing and the changes that are coming about are the contracted services that Holyoke has been taking advantage of or using utilizing the services of outside vendors, that when you bring it all back in-house and you reorganize the entire organization under the finance division anyway, I think that's where it's all going to come in. You're not going to see it right away. That's going to take a little bit of time to wind down some stuff and get the employees in place. I mean, you have your new auditor that started today. So, I mean, all of that will yield the savings that we're looking for.
So this is not in this fiscal budget, this $100,000 savings that we were told was going to happen.
It was always going to be next fiscal year's budget. It was the first full fiscal year it would be working towards budget neutrality, and that once we onboarded people, we could start reducing those contracted services lines, as TJ mentioned. And I'll give you a great example. We're in the process right now of hiring a director of technical assistance. We interviewed 3 candidates. This would be the IT director. All 3 of them brought different skill sets. We contract for 100% of our IT services. Right now, if we hire one of them that brings one skill set, we'll be able to reduce one of those contracts. If that person, if we end up going with a different person, the skills set they bring will allow for us to reduce a different contract. So some of it's really getting the people in here and identifying where our continued deficiencies are that we need to supplement with contracted service. And we won't know that until the people start, which is always why year one, we had an eye towards neutrality. And then moving forward is where we would see the cost savings.
Okay, so then God willing that we're all here for the next fiscal year, there's going to be a definite show of $100,000 savings with this reorganization. I mean a definite savings.
A definite savings on contracted services, absolutely, 100%.
Well, I was talking about personnel.
It was always the total, but it was not necessarily personnel, though we would expect to see personnel services get reduced as well.
I beg to differ, but it was personnel that we talked about.
Okay.
Councilor Devine?
Thank you. Just Rory, if you're able to, the dues and subscriptions, $500, just curious as to what those are for, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, so there's different professional associations, and especially now with, potentially having a new, there will be a new treasurer collector, possibly a new assistant, depending on the way things get structured. We're in the middle of negotiations right now on a few different fronts. There'll be additional, so whether it's the Western Mass Treasurer Collectors Association annual subscription is X amount. There's a banking services, there's a Veribank. It's a few $100 a year, but it's a best practice, and it is actually called for in our policies and procedures manual. So, some of those things that we're bringing on. It's not big money, but it is necessary.
Thank you. Just one more. Under education and training, fiscal 25 actual was 4427, and fiscal 26 and then 27 is 2125. It's a reduction, so that's okay, but I'm just wondering if you might know the education and training, and you may not.
Oh yeah, so, yep, so that is, we had moved some additional money in there that year. I had sent some of my staff to some UNIS training, and so we transferred money in for that. Some of the other things that we've done with that education and training line to help support other departments in the city is I saw a need in working with Excel. So we actually partnered with HCC and provided Excel training, college level Excel training for all city staff who deal with numbers and deal with Excel as, an opportunity for professional development. That's really what we try to do with those lines is professional development.
Okay, thank you, Rory.
You're welcome.
Councilor Bacon?
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Rory. So in this budget, is some of the money for the treasurer collector in the pay line?
Yes. Yes,
How much of it is in the treasurer budget?
what is left right now in the treasurer line for fiscal '27, just the treasurer pay line, is $27,000.
So that would be the contribution toward treasurer collector
That would be and that.
from this budget line?
From this budget, that might get shrunk down depending on, exactly the timing and everything. But yes, that is accurate.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone else on Zoom either. Thank you. And then we have our auditor's office, which is page 19. Page 19.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, councilors. I'm going to address the auditor budget. As you mentioned, it is our new city auditor's first day, and I didn't want to put her in the hot seat. So
That was nice of you.
I'm here to answer any potential questions. So just to highlight a few changes, there's really not much. The auditor's budget is fairly small, but I just wanted to highlight a few changes. There is a $400 longevity payment that's going to be due this year. That's due to contractual negotiations for our assistant accountant. Let's see, the next one, 11352-53030, print bind microfilm. That I reduced. The cost for printing and binding the budget books has gone down drastically. We really just bring it to Staples now and bind it. So I thought that would be, it's a small savings, but it's a little something. The next 11352-53190, education and training, that did go up a little substantially, but now I wanted to budget for 1 attendance at the MMA conference. I wanted to budget for 2 attendees to attend the municipal law conference that's held every year at the log cabin. And I wanted to budget 1 for the Tyler Tech conference. I'm hoping that is something that we're going to be able to do this year. The next big change is 11352-57300, dues and subscriptions. I did increase that, and that was to account for a subscription, the dues for the MMAAA, which is the Mass Municipal Auditors and Accountants Association. That might be the other way around, for our new auditor. And then also I had requested the mayor to cover the cost of the dues for the GFOA, the Government Finance Officers Administration. So those are like the high-level highlights of changes. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Councilor Grady.
Just quickly, welcome aboard. You've signed on for a pretty tough job. I just want to know, will you be anticipating any outsourcing for any services in the auditor department?
We are budgeting for that right now. I was hesitant to lower that line item, which is, you'll see professional services 11352-53010. Right now, we are, as you know, in the midst of our final audits for 23, 24, and 25. So I wanted to put that placeholder there, but as Rory mentioned, the plan is to absolutely have a lot of that reconciliation being done in-house, starting with FY27. So I'm hoping that will actually show a savings.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Yeah, actually, Councilor, you're raising a very important point about outside auditing. And so historically, the city has been used to the practice of having the auditor's office do all the reconciliations outside of the normal annual audit that takes place. Cities, towns, and everywhere don't do that. Those are all taken care in-house. It's not the practice of having an outside firm do all your auditing that the auditor should be doing within the department throughout the year. And so because of that, we should see a significant savings on the outside consulting, with the exception to, obviously, the actual annual audit that does have to take place by an outside auditor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Along that same line of thought, if we're using this as a placeholder and we're anticipating some reductions, would you be, in 24, it was only 107,000, but we're looking here to increase it by over 10,000. So would you be comfortable with a bit of a conservative cut in that number?
So if you look at the $10,000 difference, there was the original appropriation of 155, and then it was increased to 165. I'm hesitant to cut it because we still do not have the FY24 final audit closed and done, and there's going to be additional costs in there. I'm hesitant to cut it at this point.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Is there anyone else or anyone on Zoom that I'm missing? Counselor Bacon?
I just want to clarify one thing, because my understanding is the contract is going to complete the reconciliations for 24 and 25. So our outside auditor should not be doing those, correct? I mean, we've historically been paying them, but I think our internal contract is going to do those this time. I just want to clarify who's doing what.
So there are still, we do have our outside consultants. That's a separate contract that the state has entered into with them, but there's still going to be costs associated with our outside audit firm to get those audits, the drafts done.
Oh, right, right. I
yeah,
understand
yeah.
they're actually going to do the audit, but they won't be doing that extra reconciliation work for 24 and 25 because the state contract's doing that, right? So that should be some savings on our, on this side.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Okay.
hoping so. Yeah, for sure.
I just, thank you.
Yeah. I'm just, like I said, I'm just hesitant to put a number on it or
Yeah.
a figure on it at this point without knowing, because we haven't received the bills from when they were doing the reconciliation for FY23. So, yeah.
You're not sure what the breakdown
I'm just not sure. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right. So that is it for our finance team, I believe. Thank you for being here.
Madam President?
Oh, yes, Counselor Bacon?
Just through the president to the finance team.
Yes.
When I get a chance to look at the detail and through the president, I just might
Yeah.
reach out because I can't see these screens very well.
Yep.
So I might reach out to the department head. because
Absolutely. And yeah, and I would echo that for anyone if they're feeling after tonight that, that they still have questions. And it could also be at the next hearing if you wanted to. So if you prefer to do it then or reach out directly, that goes for anyone. Counselor Graney?
Yeah, just quickly too, to the finance team. I don't remember getting it, but do we have any word on the free cash?
I don't know who that.
No, that's all part of the work that the state is doing that Counselor Bacon was just,
So it's still tied up with the state?
is still tied up with the state, yes.
Thank you. And those are related to the weekly meetings that
Yeah, and we
we've
are
been having.
we're getting closer and closer and
Yeah,
closer.
yeah, it's all moving in
Yeah.
the right direction. So thanks, everyone. And we're joined by Counselor Rivera, Israel Rivera. All right. So thank you. Thanks for being here. Have a good night. The next one is actually City Council, and I added this one usually it's very straightforward, but I thought for, the sake of transparency, that folks might want to know about our budget. And then I actually had some of our newer counselors asking about the budget for us. So I wanted us to make sure we just had that opportunity. It'll probably not take long. So I want to thank Jeffrey first and foremost for helping me with this and helping the mayor. But really just the major differences. We have the advertising needs. Jeffrey and I have talked about how, there's more and more need for him to have additional funding, and just with the amounts of different notifications that do need to go out, that seemed like a reasonable number, just given on the costs. But education and training is usually for our going to the Mass Municipal Conference. In-state travel also goes towards that based on how many folks typically attend the conference. The main one that you'll notice a big decrease on was the professional services. If you guys recall, last budget season, we had talked about having a parliamentarian, and that never ended up happening. So we thought it would make sense to not have that in there. And then professional services, we usually don't end up paying too much for that. So Jeffrey, I don't know, is there anything that you wanted to add in there? It's pretty straightforward, but.
Yeah, the other decrease in professional services. So 10,000 had been budgeted or the current fiscal year for the parliamentarian. The other part of the decrease is that we only do the council pictures every other year. So that's the other part of the decrease for that. So the following fiscal year, obviously, we'll budget again for the council photos.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Any questions? Councilor Devine?
I don't have a question. I just have a thank you, Jeffrey, very much for all you do for us. Thank you.
Always. All right. So then we'll go into the next part, which is for parks. And page 35. And we're joined by John Moquin. Thanks for being here. Page 35, got it. And similarly, and then Jeffrey has the breakdown, the full breakdown that you all will have access to. But Don, same kind of thing. If there's things you want us to be aware of, if there's any major changes, feel free to take it away.
Thank you. Happy Monday to everybody. No real big increases in my opinion. Our department gets by year after year, I think. And I think there's a lot of confusion on like what my department needs versus what DPW needs to actually make bigger changes to the parks. We're recreation, we're programming, we take care of certain things that they don't. So I think we get by every year pretty good. There is an increase to the director's position, I believe, for like 0.48%. Our assistant director goes up 1.02%, and our admin assistant 1.63. And I wouldn't really have answers to that on like why those percentages are the way they are. But as far as seasonal help, I did ask for an additional $5,000 this year. When I looked back, it's been like 2 or 3 years since we had an increase to that seasonal help line. And with the lifeguards getting a $1 increase in pay, and with a lot of comments from people about summer programming and increasing the programming that we do, I'm not, something helps. $5,000 will be something, but I'm not concerned about the line item itself for seasonal help. I think that in the last year I've observed a lot and have some changes to be made to what we offer for summer programming. I don't think it's about the funding. I just think it's how we're moving the people around and what we're utilizing them for the actual programming that goes on. Other than that, I think we're pretty square. There's not much changes I anticipate other than like how we utilize the funding for certain things, but I believe our budget is pretty good.
Thank you. Councilor Greeny?
Just a quick, it's not related to the budget. The little park in Ingleside that goes up from Main Street, do you guys still maintain that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The one by Dean Tech, right, the wall and then the highway right, there. Yeah, there's a lot of questions on what we should be doing with it, what it could be utilized for. A lot of ideas, but nothing set in stone on what we're going to do next. We just maintain it, we make it look good.
Take a good look at it and improvise.
For sure.
Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Rivera?
I think, first I'll say, thank you for coming and presenting and being considerate when you're talking about, in a sense, with summer help. asking for 5,000, I think is a little bit, so I appreciate the consideration of the budget and all that. My question though might be twofold. The pool, the maintenance of the pool, right? Is that a parks, I think it's both a parks thing and a recreation thing.
We are in charge of the lifeguards and the staffing of it. We leave the maintenance and everything else goes to the DPW.
So the costs come out of DPW?
Yes, they have line
for the
for the maintenance of the pool.
And I only ask that because they do the work, but I think your chief lifeguard is the one that's like there day to day and
Correct.
Understands what's happening or whatnot.
We are in charge of all the staff and lifeguards there, but they take care of the maintenance.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that that was, all right, perfect. Thank you.
Mayor, did you want to add?
I just want to clarify, because I didn't hear the counselor, he was only asking for 5,000 for summer help, or is it what you were saying?
Yeah. Just
He's not only asking for 5,000, that's an additional, the actual recommended amount's 115,000 for the summer help.
No. 5,000 in addition to what he normally gets.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant.
And I would say in that line, with the month left, with the fireworks and the lifeguarding towards the end of this month, we have about 10 grand left to get through June. So we're like right there. But with that additional 5, maybe next year, we got a little more programming in the parks and spent a little money on some other things. But we seem to get to the end of the year right on time.
Thank you. Oh, I have Counselor Bacon and then Counselor McGrath-Smith, and then I just saw the mayor's hand.
Yep. Thanks for coming in. I let the finance folks know that when I get a chance to look at the detail, where there's significant increases in the pay lines, I'll probably be circling around to with questions on the detail, okay?
For sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. I have Counselor McGrath-Smith.
Thank you. I wanted to ask, with the 100 and, the amount that you have this year, do you feel like you are going to be able to have summer programming in the parks? It's just something people have brought up again and again, that they would love to bring back the idea of there being either crafts or pickup games being offered regularly throughout the summer at different parks.
I do, and I think we just don't capitalize. Like we already have people in the parks like last year. And again, I'm coming up on like a 1-year anniversary when I started in the position. When I started, there was still some DPW stuff I was dealing with because I left there to come here. We kind of followed the motions on what was done in the past, in the years before, just sprinkling people in different parks and bringing a table for arts and crafts. This year, I do have a plan, not set in stone, right? But we plan on having people in Springdale, Pulaski, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We plan on having people in McNally, Donahue, and Kennedy Field Tuesday, Thursday for things like flag football, volleyball, soccer. And that's really just us buying the equipment and then sending our staff there to kind of coordinate it. And these parks were picked and chosen because of the amount of people we know will be in the parks at those times. Those are kind of some of the hotter parks. And then we can get creative with it. We kind of want to create teams from each park that could somehow come back together and play against each other, but it's kind of trial and error. I do see it coming back. We also partnered with, and I can't remember her name, for some arts and crafts grant with someone for stick figures and puppets to be made in the park at the same time. So I'm confident we will continue to do that and make it look better than it has in the past couple of years.
Thank you, John.
No problem. And then I also say, like, we do partner with other programs, right? This summer, we do have tennis in the court, tennis in the parks coming back. We have our basketball summer camp at Holyoke High that goes for 2 weeks. We have this new crew, Summit 1202 is a hiking crew that's going to have a summer program all summer at Community Field. And then we're spitballing a little bit about our own summer program in August, hopefully at one of the schools, but we're not there yet. But I'm confident it'll be a better summer than we've had in the past for programming.
Thank you.
Just quickly, another technical question. The park, certainly the one on Westfield Road, I see the kids out there playing baseball, the pee-wees are out there. It's really refreshing to see that's well maintained, especially the gym area where the kids go. What about the rowing program? Do you have anything to do with that?
I know we are in charge, like that's our building down there that they operate out of.
Yeah.
But Stephanie Moore and they handle all that. They have a good handle on programming and how they operate. But I have been talking to her most recently. I think retirement's in the future in the next couple of years, and she'd like to connect to see how probably we step up and kind of take over some of that program out of the building.
yeah.
The building, the location's beautiful, it's perfect, and it's just about getting some of our youth there that don't know about the program. It's all free program, it's kayaking, fishing, whatever you want, and some of the kids and some of the adults don't even know that the place is there.
Absolutely wonderful. It's a wonderful program down there. Love to see it continue the way it's been. Thanks.
We also have CDBG funding for down there, almost 200,000. A lot of it's going to planning, but some plans for HVAC system and stuff inside.
Thank you.
No problem.
Counselor Purcell?
I don't have a question about the budget. This is just about how fast you responded to a park that wasn't a park. I thank you very much for that. We cleared that up, and now I know the answer, and those sidewalks will get done in a timely fashion now because I found out from you how to take care of it. And also Grabs Park that I just talked to you about a couple of days ago. Thank you for that too. That was very nice. And at Holyoke Rose, we have a veterans program there where veterans can use that facility for free on every program they have there. That's all. Thank you very much.
Just for Grams Park, that was honestly on one of the parks on our mayor's list. And we did have a meeting about how to bring that back, but I think we're at the point of, and then there's other departments that have some grant funding, Maggie with conservation, the DPW and Mira have some money about green infrastructure. So my plan, like my idea for there is just new fencing, bring back some greenery, but like what you said with gardening and raised planters and gardens is kind of the idea there to complement the senior building that connects through the alley.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Oh, sorry, Counselor Sullivan.
Thanks. John, I'm a little, because I can't read some of the stuff here, and I know Counselor Bacon's going to come back to it, but right now, you're talking really about two different items in our budget, right? Recreation and parks.
No. So like the seasonal helpline that we've been talking about?
No, what we have on our agenda tonight is for parks. Recreation isn't even on there.
Recreation is within the DPW
I think
budget,
parks is
typically.
part, yeah, I guess you're saying.
Hang on, wait, I'm here, two different things. Recreation is now in the DPW budget?
No.
No, I'm sorry, is that what I said? No, it's
When you first
it's
called
within
me up-
parks.
When you first called me up, that was what I was gonna say, is like, when you say parks, I don't know if I'm coming up, or recreation is kind of the top.
I apologize. Every year sorry.
It's okay.
Page 35 is the recreation as well.
Yeah, they're,
Jeffrey's email also says, page 38, the budget is labeled recreation, so.
Yeah, it's recreation. And Counselor, immediately after him, we have DPW coming up that will talk about parks.
all right, and is that where the $160,000 increase in pay is coming?
Correct.
From DPW?
That's not mine.
All right,
I noticed that, yeah.
okay. You're off the hook, thank
Yeah,
you.
I know.
Where's Gallagher?
That's a different recreation off the hook.
That's just the confusion, right? Parks and Rec versus just recreation and parks
Yeah.
versus the whole thing.
I take responsibility and I will make sure it's clear next year.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Stick around to hear about the 160 for Mike.
So the next is Public Works, and it's pages 27 through 32 and 39. The budget labeled Parks falls under DPW.
Madam President,
Yes?
just clarifying, those are the page numbers for the ones that got sent out today.
Got it. For
Those
tonight's-
page
yep.
numbers are a little different from the original budget.
Yes. So what got sent out, you mean the line by line that you're pulling up on the screen, is what you're saying?
Yeah, those page numbers relate to that attachment, not necessarily.
Okay, and
the one that
then
was
my
sent in.
regular one was pages 29 through 32, I believe was Public Works, but Mayor, it's not my budget, so if you want to clarify me at all, you can.
Yeah.
Tell me again, what's the question?
Just that I want to make sure we're on the right pages. So I had we don't have page numbers in this budget book, but I went through and it looked like pages 29 through 32 in this budget book are what we're working on tonight. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything.
Okay.
So we can start with page 29.
Does that include the bottom half of page 35?
No, because then we got forestry too. I didn't make the budget, so I'm just trying to figure out what pages we want to be on. Mike, welcome.
35. Yeah, good evening, counselors.
Good evening.
I think it's safe to say maybe we'll lead with the parks budget, which
Okay.
for DPW is the parks maintenance budget. And to Counselor Sullivan's question, the lead with as you know, we've been ordinance committee multiple times. It's been ongoing for at least a solid year now, maybe on that, adding a separate superintendent for the parks maintenance. And the proposed budget does have a 76,000 something line for adding a new position of park superintendent or parks maintenance supervisor, however we end up calling it in the end. And they also on the increase for the salary also is I'd requested one position back that had been eliminated from the fiscal 26 budget. The mayor's put through here to add some more help to addressing the maintenance of our parks. And then we have, there's been contract raises over the last couple of fiscal years. The union had achieved retroactive pay for the labor union, and they have another increase coming up this July 1 for the new fiscal year, and that would bring your total personnel services line up to a higher figure when you add it all in.
Thank you, Mike. Counselor Bacon.
Thank you. And Mike, I know you've explained all of this to us more than once over time, so don't take any of my questions as insult. It may be that I've forgotten some of the details. Now, with the combined position, my recollection was we had one salary line for the forester, and then there was a whole lot of extra money that was paid through overtime, but it was not in a separate salary line. Do I have that right?
Okay. The overtime.
Okay, but that's not my question.
Yeah.
My question is just, if we've moved it into the pay line, is it gone out of the overtime in the budget, wherever it was coming from? I'm looking for, something to go down for this going up.
No, overtime is generally been areas of work that has to be performed. More of the work you referred to, the overtime work you referred to with our forester, there would be less of the overtime that is put in on by the forester. There would be less of that overtime on the parks end of it, for certain. And the forester's responsibilities will strictly end up being with forestry. And so as we move forward, we do have a goal of trying to limit the overtime that has been happening. And I've actually been speaking with Mr. Mulquin about moving forward, and we're looking at trying to reinvent the wheel as we go along. A lot of overtime for parks happens with the various events up at McKenzie Stadium, and there's also the new park supervisor would be in charge of scheduling of this work, and we're hopeful. We've had a new transfer within the DPW to parks maintenance, and we have a new hire starting this week to fill a position that was vacant in the parks maintenance division. And some of the overtime work that's been getting done should, by higher paid individuals, should start to come down.
Yeah.
There will always be the necessity of overtime in
Right.
relation to the various events that happen after normal working hours.
Right.
But-
It's just, your budget is so split up and spread over so many pages. It's very difficult to look and see the offsets. You know, because on the face of it, this looks like a huge increase, but I know we were paying that combined position a lot of money. That was a lot more than the 70 some odd thousand. So I'm just looking to see, and I think I hear you telling me that in other parts of the budget, there will be lower costs, but it's not going to be this for that. I mean, you can't see it that clearly.
There's going to be overtime.
Right, but
Well,
it should be a lot less than was going into that combined position, right?
That's going to be hard to say for certain, because but the forester will only have to focus on the forestry end of it.
Right.
And one of the goals, the council's wanted a separate park superintendent for some time now. And one of the goals we see out of having a separate park superintendent is currently the forester. His official job title is city forester. He has also been tasked for the last 20 years as the supervisor of parks maintenance.
Right.
And one of the things that on my end of it that I'm looking for is if we end up filling this position of the parks superintendent, is that he's able to focus more attention on the supervision of the day-to-day operations of the crew that goes out there and actually does all the maintenance work on these parks. And hopefully with some improved efficiency, we are able to see some reduction in the overtime and an improvement of the maintenance of the parks.
So you see this person as a working superintendent, not just another admin?
I wouldn't necessarily say a working superintendent. The position will be in the supervisory unit. But when it's hard for the forester to be keeping an eye on the crews and supervising the crews if he's up in the bucket answering an emergency call for a tree down, or he's
Right, but so the superintendent will be out in the field, not sitting in an office?
Oh, he'll be
I mean,
out. He'll be out.
I'm just not in favor
like-
of building a bigger bureaucracy here. I want to see people with
I
the
understand.
hands-on and and the outcomes that we're looking for, yeah.
I understand your question. He'll be having to be out on the road. He'll have some office duties as most of the supervisory staff does. He's going to have to be out in the parks, out monitoring the employees, taking a look at the parks, deciding what kind of work needs to be done to keep them up to par, and also to make improvements to the parks. If we end up filling this position, I intend to put a lot of responsibility on whoever ends up in the position. I think it's been loud and clear from the council. The overall goal has been that the councilors want some improvements in the parks, and having enough people, the right people, sending them in the proper direction, it all helps.
Yeah. And do you have enough of a crew at this point for a superintendent? Because, sometimes we buy things or we approve things and then we're short on the implementation side because we couldn't recruit line people. Are we going to be okay there?
Well, one of the requests is to add another position on there, and we will see how things pan out.
Okay.
You know, we've had, we ended up with quite the storm of some personnel matters over the last couple of years with some of the parks people and some of the other employees.
Yeah.
I want to say we've been working on getting a handle on it. We had some employees that had been out for a long term for various
That's
reasons.
tough, yeah.
We've got like the openings that we've been managing to fill have been positions that were tied up in the budget. We
Yes, you
couldn't
mentioned
hire
that in
anyone else
committee, and that's a tough problem.
in them, and
Yeah.
now we're filling them with actual bodies that come to work and get out there and take care of the work.
Right. I can appreciate the challenge of that. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I have, Mayor, I saw your hand, but I have Counselor Rivera, and I just didn't know if your hand was in relation to that.
No, I think I'm good. I just want to make sure that we were answering the question she was looking for.
Okay, got it. So I have Counselor Rivera and then Counselor Greeny.
Yeah, thank you. For me, it's kind of on the same point where Counselor Vacan was. With the particular position, it sounds like we're carving out new funding for this position as if it were a new position that's never been filled, but it's kind of in a sense been filled. Someone has been getting paid. And to my recollection, like there was like they were getting paid in out of two buckets. One was forestry and one was a superintendent of parks. Whether it was formalized or official or whatnot, the money was still provided and it was still there. So for me, it's like if we're putting a whole new whatever, I want to support the position. It's not that I don't want to support the position. It's just that we're asking for a whole new set of money for this one position. Instead of saying, well, because we're changing this former position, we're going to use the money that we were funding this former position with to move it to this section so that way we can still do what we're doing instead of just asking for a whole new set of funding for it. That's where I'm confused, because the forester was a part-time position. That would mean that the forester still remains a part-time position unless you're changing that to a full-time position. Is that what's happening?
No. Yeah, forester has always been a full-time position. The forester had been tasked for all these years with being both the forester and the supervisor of the parks maintenance staff. Prior to parks maintenance and forestry being merged down into the DPW, the forester position and forestry, they operated under the Parks Department. Prior to Mayor Sullivan's reorganization, the department used to be Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. The city forester, there was the city forester, and he had a separate crew for going out and taking care of the trees and the forestry work. And there used to be a parks superintendent on the Parks Department that was in charge of the parks maintenance staff.
So just to go back to the funding mechanism, right? Still, the position was funded, right? And we're still asking for new money to fund a position that was already funded. Whether it was backfilled or you guys figured out how to fund it in the way that you found out, not you per se. This is not a you thing, Mr. Gallagher. I hope you don't take any offense to it, because that's not what it is. It's literally a system that's been functioning the way it's been functioning for so long, and it's been inherited by you, by the mayor, by us as a council, and by other people. But to me, there's a little bit of like hogwash in the system, and it kind of needs to be flushed out. And what I mean by that is that position, or the emergence, or the overtime, whatever you want to call it, was getting paid over $120 a year. And you're going to tell me now that we need more funding for a new position that he was already doing, or the person was already doing, and that 120 is where? That's the question where it's at. Like, where is that 120? The funding that's been paying him all this time, where is that money at then? Like, why do we have to create a whole new position to fund the position that he was already doing? Then the other piece is, to me, is what is the plan for the forestry then? Because I actually want to cut that. Because I don't think I see a plan for forestry, because we haven't done forestry. We've been contracting it out all these years. The tree list is crazy. So if their full-time job was forestry, like, so where is the money's not adding up to me, right? So like, I fully get it. You could do this or you could do that. It's either you're a jack of all trades or you're a jack of none. Like, and I'm not, again, it's with respect, but the reality is that I want to fund a position, but I can't sit there and honestly say that I'm not giving money up for a position that is already been funded.
A few of the things you mentioned, the forester's pay this fiscal year was $70,000. He's his base salary does come out of the forestry budget, which is one of the many budgets I'm here on tonight. Some of the different areas where he draws his overtime from. He's part of in the supervisor's contract. There's a supervisor. There's always a supervisor for the DPW on call. There's a standby pay that the on-call supervisors receive every day that they're on call. It's 2 hours of pay a day when they're on call. Sometimes other supervisors give up their on-call time to someone else, and Mr. Tuig is often available and willing to take the on-call time from them. When a supervisor is on call, they respond to many issues that come up with anytime you call the DPW after hours or on the weekends, the supervisor on call is who the answering service calls. There's an on-call phone that the supervisor on call answers. He also, depending on the emergencies, even if he's not on call, when we have a storm and trees come down or tree limbs come down, he's the person that comes out for those emergencies.
I fully understand that.
He is the forester. There's he'll be in the supervise. Sometimes he's supervising.
I just drove by Springdale. There's a half a tree laying in Springdale right now.
Yeah.
I guess for me, that's the part where it's like, yes, I understand the roles and the responsibilities, but if we're going to say overtime is the reason, then we have to work on overtime then, right? Why is everyone only working 9 to 5? At the school department, they have different shifts for janitors because they fully understand that overtime is going to break them. Why don't we do the same thing when it comes to Parks and Rec? Like on the weekends, you know that on the weekends we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's when we rent the parks out. So you're guaranteeing overtime if we're not going to staff someone during those hours and we don't make it flexible to that extent. And I'm not saying that that's what we have to do when it comes to that. I'm just saying that if we're saying that this money's coming from overtime, then that means that we're cutting overtime, or are we cutting, like if I wanted to make an impact, am I cutting the overtime budget or am I cutting the line item, like the overall? I mean, I don't even understand how the budget works right now. I do and I don't, but it's just, I'm trying to fully understand how we're going to do this, because if we're saying that you're asking for more money for a new position, and I want to support this position because I think it makes sense, it's just that like, then that means that other extra 80 or was it $50,000 is just in there somewhere, and it's going to come out no matter what, is what I'm hearing. Even if we cut it, that overtime is going to be accumulated no matter what, and that that person or the position or whoever it is going to make that they're gonna end up getting to that number. And I'm not doing it because I'm not trying to come after anybody. I'm just trying to fully understand how this is an effective way of like making our budget function.
Okay. There's, you mentioned the overtime and the timelines and everything, and you mentioned the after, things that have to happen after hours, and I just, there are several collective bargaining agreements that do govern over the overtime. I'm not sure if you were wondering if we should be switching around some of the shifts that some of the employees work, but the contracts basically spell out the regular workday is Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And anything after 3 p.m. or on weekends or holidays they're paid overtime, and the regular outside of those hours. And there are a lot of things that have to happen outside the normal business hours. The overtime, we're when we looking more at trying to narrow that down. I've had to put in some transfers for it for this fiscal year, and like there's always going to be overtime, and like not everybody wants to work overtime as much as other people do, and like I would say there's going to end up being more of a dispersal of the overtime amongst more employees in the future.
I did see that the mayor had his hand up to respond as well. And
Yeah.
I've got Councilor Greeny and McGrath-Smith in the queue.
Yeah, before I share some comments, I got to get caught up here in exactly what's the extra position you guys are referring to, Council?
So it's the split of the forester and the park superintendent position. And because we're splitting it, now there's a new position that they're technically hiring for that they've never hired or they haven't hired for in years, like probably 15, 20 years. So it's not a new position, but since we're hiring for it new, it's a new position. So it feels like it's a new budget item added in instead of absorbing. That's what it feels like. And that's why I'm trying to clarify.
And then you said something about an additional 50,000. What number is that you threw out there?
Because the forester position, as he mentioned, is originally like a $78,000-$79,000, something like that, he said. So, but the average that's put out for that particular position or the person that's in the position ends up being like $100,000 to $120,000 a year after the fact. The extra 50, I'm saying, is overtime that's accumulated that gets them to that point.
That's in the forestry, are we talking about, or that's in the parks?
So I think it's taken from parks to help backfill the forestry. I think that's where, but that's where I'm trying to figure out where does the backfill come from to help fill in that extra salary that not extra salary, the salary he worked for, but ultimately that extra money, where is it coming from? And if we know where that's coming from, then we can say, yeah, we're going from here to kind of move that. And if there's more money that's needed for the overtime, I'm not against you guys having overtime because you guys aren't the problem with overtime. Trust me, that's not the issue.
So I would say, if I can add to this conversation, there's two things. One, parks and forestry both have their own separate overtime lines. The second thing I'll say is I know this is the word we keep often using here. We're at a transitional point. No. There are some changes that are coming with folks in personnel at the moment. And I know we're all kind of, trying not to say who and what and where. But ideally, what we want to do in this rework plan and is a couple of things. One, we want to, and we continue to have the conversation. And I know that something's been important to you. What do we want to do with parks and recreation, and what system and structure do we want to accommodate so that we can make sure that recreation department is adequately meeting up with their needs and getting proper support DPW, or are we breaking some of that off so it's less DPW, more in the rec? We're trying to figure that out. And then we have citywide tree needs.
Yes.
Currently in the current system, we have one guy that oversees all of that. And it's tough to say, there's a lot of things going on every single day. And we got one guy who's responding to all of that. And so when you have folks in every corner of our city that's in their own, bubble, it feels like things aren't, and it's true, things aren't adequately being kept up with, but the system is antiquated, is not effective, is not efficient. So whatever new system we adopt, there is going to be an increase because we want forestry to be forestry. We don't want forestry anywhere near parks. We want actual proactive tree management and maintenance. And we want park maintenance to be park maintenance. This current budget's not good, because those conversations are happening and we still have people in current positions, we're waiting for announcement and retirements. This current budget's not going to be the perfect one to accommodate what the vision is. It's one that helps us transition into the new fiscal year, respond to emergencies as needed, and do the basic needs of park maintenance. It's not the tree maintenance that we want to see, but at least respond to emergencies and do some work here and there, and then the basic needs of park maintenance, cutting the grass, doing stuff. But again, there's more that needs to be done. So in this budget, in forestry, you'll see two tree climber positions and a forestry.
We've putting in the forestry budget a tree climber and a maintenance man position, which basically be the assistant, the guy that would work the ground, the tree climber, the guy up in the bucket does all the tree cutting work, and the guy in the ground is the guy that helps clean up the site, feeds the wood chipper.
So if no announcement is made about retirement, we're still moving in this direction, and decisions need to be made. Individual decisions need to be made, and there is collective bargaining, what's the word? Impact bargaining that might need to take place, and that's fine, we'll do that. When there's turnover in positions, that's where the opportunity really exists, but if there is no turnover, we still are moving, and that person would have to focus on forestry and only forestry. Let's figure out parks, right? And so that's where we're at now. What that budget is going to look like, it's still not really clear until we get there and can figure out how many people, how many hours, what the capacity is, what's the overtime needs and whatnot. And so that's why this is currently what it is, and it's difficult.
Yes.
Because I like you're 10 steps ahead, and we want to get there. It's just like the system is moving in that direction, just not as quickly as we wanted to.
And I appreciate that. It cleared some of it up, because I think for me, the main thing I just wanted to highlight is that I don't want to say extra money, because it's not extra money, but what made it go up, right? Like the salary. Because if the salary is averaged at 79 or 80,000, but it maxes to like 120 or 115 or 130 because of overtime, that extra chunk of money that is in the budget already and has been in the budget for quite some time, is just understanding it and understand where it's going and how it's going to go. That's the only thing for me.
No, that's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Thank you. I have Counselor Graney and then Counselor McGrath-Smith.
Just quickly, Mike, you absolutely need this position? This is a yes or no question.
For the supervisory position?
Yeah.
Absolutely would be a no, because we move forward no matter what. We will keep on going on, but it is really what we want to move forward to the future and try and improve the services we're providing.
All right, secondly, a tree climber basically is obsolete because everybody uses buckets now, right? So basically the tree climber is going to be in a bucket, right?
The majority of the time, the tree climber would be in a bucket, but the tree climber will also have to perform whatever tasks are necessary. So sometimes the tree climber's got to take care of something they cannot reach with the bucket.
Yep.
We're hopeful that when we move into the forestry budget, we're hopeful that the amount proposed by what was reached with contract negotiations will be enough to attract a tree climber into the job.
You're talking big bucks.
they make big bucks out in the private sector. The labor union recently settled a contract with the city of Holyoke, and through that contract process, mayor could tell you a lot more about it than I could. They got some raises. The pay for the positions went up. We're hoping that the pay has gone up enough that we can get some help in here and take care of more of these issues ourselves in-house. I can tell you my own observations over the last 20 years, a lot of the tree issues we've had in the last several years is because we have not had a full-time tree crew out there doing some of your basic maintenance, trimming back the roadways and what have you. And which would be something like if we have a tree climber, a maintenance man, and the forester able to focus more on these issues, it could help us catch up. And I think back to, we take council's brought up the 100 most dangerous trees and the different trees that have had to come down through the tree keeper system. If we had a forestry crew for the last 20 years that had even been taking down one bad tree a month, we'd be in a lot better shape than we are now.
Absolutely, I understand that.
So in order to...
Just to go to a different topic, I have one more question. McKenzie Stadium, the balance of what it costs to maintain McKenzie Stadium, that's a beautiful, beautiful ballpark. The cost to maintain that as to, we get rent for that? I don't see a McKenzie Stadium budget, it's all Parks and Rec, or parks.
Yeah, the money, I'm not sure how the exchange of money happens once the money, all monies collected for use of parks facilities are paid through the Parks and Recreation Department. There is money in the parks maintenance end of it that's budgeted for the various upkeep that has to happen up
Right,
there.
but you maintain McKenzie Stadium?
Yes, the DPW, this parks budget, it's parks, the function of parks maintenance falls under the DPW, the scheduling of the games, the permitting for the fields, the rental stadium, the arrangements for the high school and for the Blue Sox rental of McKenzie Stadium and the other entities such as Elms College that use McKenzie Stadium. Those are all run through the Parks Recreation Division.
Okay, then I just want to give you kudos because that park is in excellent condition. So my kudos to the crew that's taking care of that. They're doing one heck of a job.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, sorry, did you want to respond to Councilor Rainey?
Yeah, I was going back to the forestry, and you're right, and thank you for refreshing my memory. We got, I don't want to say bottleneck, but completely roadblocked. I remember in previous budget years, we tried to fill tree climber positions. The forestry director couldn't operate a bucket by themselves, and we were limited at a capped dollar amount that no one was applying for, and so forth. And so then we had some challenges negotiating with the union, and that's when we pivoted and said, you know what, let's just move all this money to outsource because we got to get stuff done. So that's right. That did slow down the transitional process for sure. But now, hopefully, with this this change, and the positions have been posted. I think Kelly might be online. I'm not sure if she might be able to share if anyone's been responding or not. But suppose those positions do get filled, the forestry director focuses on forestry, now has a team to actually operate a bucket and go out and do the work. But that wasn't the case 4 years ago to date because we were stuck at a dollar amount that we couldn't go above because it was contracted. So, but yeah, thanks for making taking us down memory lane there.
Okay, I've got Councilor McGrath-Smith and then Councilor Sullivan.
Thank you. And I'm sorry if this is a bit of a repeat. I'm still trying to hold on to it. I know we keep coming back to the the issue of the park superintendent versus the forester. So I guess I have a couple questions, and it also involves the tree climber. Last time we talked about the tree climber, we said that it was effectively impossible for us to bring anyone in terms of interesting folks because the money we could offer just was never going to be enough given what they're being offered in private industry. And I don't think that Kelly Curran is on, but I was hoping that she could really speak to how is this any different? Because I feel like we've heard that before, and I just feel like it's not going to be filled because that's what has happened every time. I mean, one time we increased it and then also tried to hire two. So I'm just really concerned that that's going to stay unfilled and it'll just end up going to contracted services. So if that's the case, why not just move it to contracted services now? And then what the forester is doing is the work that they can do because it's not just cutting down trees, right? Like really that's what's been happening is right now we have this person that's split between these two positions. And so all that forester really can do is try to be in charge of cutting down, trees when there's an emergency that arises. But really it's supposed to extend way beyond that to really caring for trees as well. And I don't know if all of that requires a second person on hand at all times. I'm a little worried about that if that's the case, because I feel like we might have a hard time hiring that tree climber. And the other thing is that in terms of wage, I understand that we have some transitions occurring and we're not, maybe naming exactly what we're talking about there. But I remember when Kelly Curran came and really described these two roles to us and splitting them, we asked her what the pay rate would be, and they would both be niche positions, and they would be around $69,000 each. So it just looks very different than what we have in front of us. Thank you.
So we do, I believe Kelly is on Zoom but hasn't been promoted to a panelist yet.
I'm attempting to right now. She just has to accept.
Okay, cool.
I've been promoted.
Awesome. There we go. Okay.
Well deserved.
So they're not in age. The positions wouldn't be in age. They would be in the DPW supervisors. And because we just settled the contract a couple months ago, their pay did increase, like the salary would increase a little bit. And the other, what was the other points? The tree climbers' salary did increase also. We did a study, so we do think it is competitive. We're never going to compete with the private sector, but our pension is a big draw to a lot of people. So it is possible that we will get someone for that. It's not posted yet because it has to be approved by you all. And I'm confident that we could get someone this time around because it is way closer to a competitive salary than it has been in a long time. And I think there was another point, but I don't know what that is. I do think splitting the positions, some of the overtime will be decreased. And Mike has a plan to train parks maintenance crew on things that the forester does not need to do. But he's done it for so many years because in the past, people didn't want to do it, but now we have a kind of new parks maintenance crew that is hungry to learn more.
And can we
Thank you.
name exactly what
Go ahead.
given the new union negotiations, the DPW Supervisors Union, can we name exactly how much we're saying the forester and park superintendent will be paid again? It's just hard looking at the budget the way we have it. It's because individual pieces aren't always named and then split up. It's hard to know exactly what these pay lines mean.
Yeah, I didn't, I was watching just to, watch. I didn't think I had to speak, so I don't have that information, but it is online on the personnel website. I don't have my laptop with me. I'm cooking dinner actually, and my glasses are not here, so I can't even look at my phone right now. But if somebody wants to pull it up, it's on the personnel website and it is under contracts. And it's near the last pages.
Okay. All right. I'll go looking.
And I'm happy to send it to everyone tomorrow if I know you. Well, you guys have you have time before you're going to vote anyway, so I can get you that information prior to that. I could send it tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
And if there's anything else you need, just shoot me an email and I'll get that information too, so you guys can make an informed decision. But I do think splitting the positions, it'll save us money in the long run, even though it looks like sticker shock right now. I do think it'll reduce overtime. It'll increase services and safety and all that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly, and thanks for being here in such short notice
No problem.
during dinner. I do have Counselor Sullivan.
Yeah, during the few minutes here, Mike has answered the question for me and showed me, but once again, I'm seeing here tonight for the first time a copy that breaks down where some of these line items are in regards to forestry. Also, so this is for the first time, nothing been provided up until a minute ago. If I look at the previous year's budgets, there was a line item, Public Works, Forestry Division. Even that has completely disappeared from what's presented to us.
We don't have.
So it's impossible for us to find this, where is the tree climber, where is all of this stuff in the format or the timeliness in which it is being presented to us. That's it.
Thank you. Counselor Bacon.
This is quick.
No, it's fine.
It's just
Go ahead.
one more technical
Absolutely.
question because it's something that bugs me.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have enough of a crew that you're able to use that $250,000 tree truck that we bought that we had nobody to run? It just sticks in the craw.
Yeah, you're gonna get a long answer from me for that question, Counselor. The issue, one of the, that truck that we have, the only person capable of running it right now is our forester. And we we use it mostly on emergencies. He'll also take it out for other matters when needed as he can. He's the only one we have to do is we do not have a tree climber. That we have an asset there, a valuable piece of equipment that sits most of the time. When we drive around town, you can find plenty of trees on the roadways. One of the things I think about is all the different streets where there's tree limbs hanging out that, that they're just a matter of time when a truck or tractor trailer goes down that street, there's going to be another limb coming down on somebody's car.
Well, I hope it's got low miles so it lasts a lot longer once we finally get a crew.
The last forestry truck lasted quite some time. That truck was like some of the other equipment was around before I arrived at the DPW.
And I want to acknowledge that you've inherited this too, so
Yeah,
it's not on you.
No, we've the mayor's been very proactive in trying to get our equipment upgraded, but all this equipment we need people to run it.
Exactly.
Every truck needs a person. It's not something that can be consolidated with computers like a lot of other things in society today.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Maybe we can get it out for the parade next year, Mike.
Do folks have other questions? So it feels like we've kind of been all over the place as far as the page numbers go. Mike, go ahead.
So I want to circle back, Councilor McGrath, worried about if we bring in the people and if we could have our own crew to proactively be out there doing this work. And I sort of mentioned something else. It's where we've gotten beyond the winter now, but in the winter time, I had a couple of them large storms during the overnight hours when I had to make shifts. There was one part I think I brought in. I think it was the Public Safety Committee. I came in and addressed, I gave a report about how I think I had 5 or 6 of the large snow plows were in the garage in the overnight shift when we had to send drivers home to sleep to be able to come back to work the next day. We use everybody. It doesn't matter where, if you're if you drive a trash truck during the day, if you're on the highway crew, if you're a driver, this tree climber position, for instance, the truck requires a CDL license. That's another person too that we're able to put out in the snow plow in the winter. It doesn't matter what somebody's daytime job is. When it snows, I'll put anybody out in the truck to try and get that job done.
Thank you. I was going to say, Councilor McGrath-Smith, did you have anything?
No, I just wanted to thank him for clarifying. That helps.
Yeah, no problem. I have Councilor Rivera, and I don't see anyone else. So, Councilor Rivera?
Yeah, and I just wanted to reiterate that it's not against you, anything, Mr. Gallagher, any other questions I had or anything I said. It's just more or less around the system and trying to figure out the system. And then the last thing that came to me after Councilor McGrath-Smith had asked a question around the staffing, with regards to the forestry team, because I feel like they're not all gonna be. I mean, if they are, then that's great. But if they're not going to be cutting trees all the time, is there a way to try to make it where the position is a flexible position, where when it's time for it to be trees, then they're doing trees. But throughout the city, if you don't need them to do trees and you need them to help cut the grass at a park one day, you can do that. If you need them to help with highway one day, they can do that. I feel like that would kind of help us bridge the gaps in certain spaces, but it looks like you have an answer to that. So,
that type of operating goes on all the time. Trash is short people. They'll get guys from highways on the Fridays if trash. When we have fewer runs on a Friday for trash, we'll have trash guys out there doing highway work. People in the winter. We need snow plowing. Guys from parks will do snow plowing. We've also, we send people from the highway crew are sent to assist with different projects that happen in the parks. We've been moving people around wherever we need the individuals for years.
no, and I understand that. I respect that. I think that there's a difference between an informal process and a formalized process, right? So, like if I'm applying for a position, and I apply for a position, I understand that I'm going to be called upon to do these things when I apply for it. That's one thing. But if I apply for a job and then later on you call me in to do something else that's not necessarily in the perspective that I applied, but there's a piece at the bottom that says, and this too, I'll do it, but it doesn't mean I'm going to be a good employee moving forward all the time, right? So like for me, it's about how are we sustaining a culture, and for me, it's formalizing it and trying to make it so that way when the people come onto the team, it makes sense that they already know what the expectation is. But I commend that, and I respect that the crew is willing to be shiftable and adjusting. But thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Tessa?
Councilor Devine.
Just quick, I'm not sure if this is done this way, but my experience has always been at the end of an application or a job description, it'll say, and other duties as required. And that's what kind of gets you into that, and they've got to know that there's other duties required of the job.
Yeah, the descriptions will say other related duties, like the guys with a CDL is hired to drive for trash. They're also, all our positions have that laboring aspect to them. A lot of times it used to be back in the day that trash trucks were all of them were manned by two CDL drivers, and you would take turns being the guy in the back or the guy driving. Well, back when I started, I was a brand new guy. The guys really pulled seniority, and I was just on the back all day. But there is language in the job descriptions and covering other duties as needed. As long as and basic rule of thumb with various positions is that you can have employees do related public works work that's at or below their pay grade. We typically and their qualification. we are not going to send somebody that does not have a hoisting license, we're not going to tell them to get into the payloader. And, you know, we're, everything we do, there's nothing, we don't ask anyone to do anything that's unreasonable.
Councilor Rivera?
Just real quick to the point, and Councilor Devine, I appreciate that because that totally makes sense. And I've learned that from so many different HR tricks and nooks and crannies. I would just say that we are in a different era today, and like people are hip to that. Like the newer people that we're recruiting, they're hip to that. It's the same as saying like Tom Brady now, after he changed the game of football, right? Everybody was getting popped. Quarterbacks were getting blown up. He doesn't get blown up anymore. Quarterbacks don't get hit anymore. The game is different. The hiring game is different. And I'm gonna tell you this much, if I see that and I feel that, like, I probably would be looking for another job somewhere else too. And it's good to have it. I would just say that it's not good to practice as a culture if we want to keep people to stay here.
Yeah, Counselor, all the positions are covered by collective bargaining agreements, and a collective bargaining agreement like is a two-way street where it lays out like the various benefits and pay and salary and the holidays for the employees and the general job requirements. It has the language in there for covering a lot of that criteria, and they also, because it is a two-way street, it's not just the employees get the benefits. The contracts also call for the employees to do the work. And on another avenue of it, with the collective bargaining process, when an employee feels that they're aggrieved of, they have the option to go through the union and file a grievance or a protest and be heard. It's not completely do as I say or my way or the highway issue. There is joint labor management cooperation that does happen.
So I have more folks with their hands up. I see Councilor Graney, and I think I saw Councilor Bacon's hand, maybe? No, okay. But so we're not really, like, everyone's been asking questions, but no one's really been saying what page they're on, and it looks like people are leaving. It's cool. So I'm just trying to figure out if folks want to do this, like, page. Do you guys still want to go through pages 29 through 32? Do you not want to? Have you asked all the questions that you want? Are they related to the budget? Like, we're kind of just not really following anything. So I'm kind of just trying to facilitate, but Councilor Graney?
My comment is regarding the budget. I just want to comment
Totally.
that I appreciate Mr. Gallagher's honest response when I asked him that yes or no question, and I will give considerable thought about supporting this position. Thank you. I appreciate your honesty, Mike. Thanks.
Thank you, Counselor.
So does anyone, so we have page 29 through 32. I can go page by page, or if there's no questions, we can come back to this the night that we vote for the budget, but it's the will of the body. So, yeah, Councilor Bacon.
So for me, I need to sit and look at all the,
Your microphone.
oh, I'm not close enough. Thank you. I just need to sit and look at all the detail. I just find this very difficult to look at because most of the expenses are in the positions and you can't see them. And so it's hard to analyze this document in front of us. So that's why I'm asking each department head, once I get to the detail, can I circle back to, because it's just very hard to see, and it's hard to analyze, to even ask, to me, informed questions at this point.
Totally understand. I just want to make sure that I'm giving everyone the opportunity to do it the way they.
I appreciate that. But
Yeah, for sure.
and I'm hoping, like, with the revision, can we put, we've changed a bunch of things, but we've kept DPW all split up and spread all over the place. It's like, can't we put it all together? If we're changing things, let's put it all in one place. That's all. Thank you.
Yep. Mike?
Yeah, Counselor, I'm prepared to go through and answer any questions you have. Like, it is like the budgets in general are new to me. I got used to the this type of sheet, and I spent a fair amount of time figuring out the breakdowns of these to be prepared to come here tonight to answer your questions. So I'm here. I'm ready to move forward.
I wish I was as prepared as you are.
I'm ready to move forward with all your questions. I'm willing to come back. It is a lot. I have more budget than all the other department heads that were in here before me. I know that's why I was put on
It's
last.
heavy. It is
But,
heavy.
I mean, we could go division by division, and then I could explain details of each division on any of the questions you ask. There's some areas that got some increases because of costs are rising, and we have various needs. I had a few requests for additional staffing that was granted. I had a few requests for additional staffing that was not granted, and I'm willing to go through the process. This is a big part of the year for the city council and the city in general and the mayor. And I'm already here, and willing to keep going division by division.
Well, if we could, and through to the president, I guess I would like to hear from our department head, the high points, like what you think is critical in your budget, the changes that you think are the most significant. I don't want to, I can't ask you too much detailed questions because I just don't have it. But if you could just go through with us, like what you think are the key things that we should be aware of as we're looking at the detail after this meeting, that would be great. Because I appreciate all the prep work you've done. So if you could just run through it.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be great.
That's fine. And yes, like Councilor Bacon was saying, I imagine you won't be alone on having follow-up questions after tonight. And I also encourage folks to, within this budget packet, are narratives as well for like the departments. And those have been really helpful for me when I've been looking through them. So Mike, if you want to go for it.
Okay, on our, I think I could move away from parks and forestry now.
I think so.
Okay. And some of my highways and bridges, I put through a request for an increase of the repair and maintenance of streets and fixtures, increasing that line from 70,000 to 100,000. That's the line in our budget that fills the potholes, replaces the street signs get knocked down, stop signs when there's a request for a flashing stop sign somewhere, all the different and servicing all these components. Your bark mulch for the Adopt the Island program actually comes out of that line. Historically that way. I'm not sure why, but that's the line item it normally comes from. There's just a lot of little components to it, and any sidewalk repairs that we do a lot of smaller sidewalk repairs throughout the year ourselves. We'll the smaller jobs, not the big jobs that you'll see where we hire out a contractor for or under the block grant money. But there's times we're out there with saws. We'll cut a sidewalk up, clear some of what's causing disruption underneath it, and piece things back together. Sometimes we'll do buy materials like we're able to do like smaller slabs of the sidewalk ourselves. There's different manners like that. We cut and there's a lot of properties the city owns that that the highway division takes care of. lots that were taken for tax purposes or whatever, we have to go out there and cut and clean and maintain. And then, the biggest use of our budget money, I would say, has been, especially this past fiscal year, was on blacktop. Blacktop's over $100 some odd dollars a ton now. It doesn't seem that long ago to me that it was $60 a ton. Anything that's fuel driven, the costs have been going up on everything, and I'm just trying to not only keep up with some of this work, but I'm hoping to get a little bit more done, with whatever we can in house. And and it's like right now, it's probably zero is the last printout I had of the repair and maintenance of highways, streets and fixtures. Or like last week, it says 700 something remaining in there.
Okay.
There's bills always come in. That account pays for railroad crossing inspections that the city has to pay for, and it's just there's a lot that's done with a little. That account had to supplement some of the contract work that the fire department, the alarm division, had to hire out for some of the traffic light upgrades. And there's just a lot of details there that go into that budget. And I've asked for an increase in the traffic line painting. The cost for traffic line painting has gone up. I'm not able to get as much painted for the same amount of money we used to be able to do. Those are some of the key highlights in the highway division. We're eliminating a position that's no longer used, the property maintenance demolition worker position's being eliminated, and it's being replaced with a heavy motor equipment operator position. So the person in that position won't be laid off if they choose not to be, and we still have the same number of actual positions of people that go out there and do the work. Yeah. So just ask if there are any other questions on the highway budget.
Councilor Greeny.
Yeah, just quickly, Micah, I don't know, I didn't see anything this year, but the city always used to provide salt and sand for the citizens behind the skating rink, that you could go down and pick up salt and sand in the winter. Is there any possibility of that resuming that for the citizens?
The city, it was always sand, the public sand pile with straight sand that was provided. The department does not use sand anymore out on the roads at all. It'd been deemed through the DEP and the EPA that the sand's a bigger environmental issue than the salt. The salt dissolves, and the sand, what's happening with the sand, it washes down into different waterways, washes down into the storm drains, and the best practice now is to not use sand anymore. So we no longer use sand, and the price of salt is quite expensive to be giving it away.
Yeah, residents have asked me about that, so that's why I just wanted to pop the question to you, that's all. It's an environmental issue, that's fine with me.
Thank you. Any other questions about highways? Councilor Purcell?
No questions about highways. It's just that I've heard a lot of talk about how it used to be presented and how it's being presented now. And this is the first one I've ever seen, so I don't know the difference. To me, I have to listen to everything you have to say and take it.
Me too. It's my first budget.
That's all.
Thank you. All right, so we did highways. Do you want to do we keep going, or, I mean?
Okay, I don't know if you have them in an order. Would you like to just?
Yeah, so we had on page 29 was city engineer and DPW admin.
Okay. The, under city engineer, you'll notice change for the, what was listed as senior civil engineer. The proposal is to put through another full engineer level. Now, the difference between the current city engineer and another city engineer is the current city engineer still carries the title of city engineer / assistant director of public works. And so this other engineer would still be under the current city engineer assistant director. The senior civil engineer position, what the city has found is that with the pay that was being offered for that position, we've been unable to attract qualified candidates. And our engineering division, as you know, currently has to outsource a lot of work. And having another full-time engineer on the staff can help us in many ways, including keeping up with work, whether we're hiring outside engineering help or not. There's plenty to be done that would require an engineer. And then on the admin, since we're on the same page there, there've been ideas thrown around on the admin of adding a separate deputy or assistant director and separating it out from the engineer. You'll see where that line item, there's I think there's a $1 mark in there as a placeholder in that budget line. But we're going with the current structure, that's staffing that's in place. I think the only position vacant in the admin right now is the superintendent of outdoor works, which was a position that I held prior to becoming the director. And we're hoping to be able to fill that position soon, because there's a guy that's been doing 2 jobs for a little while now.
I'm just confused am I looking at what's on the screen, or am I looking at what's in my book? No, I know. So I'm just making sure I'm not. So I don't. I don't.
Who's scrolling on the screen over there?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey,
Yeah.
what division is that?
This is the DPW admin that we're working on.
That's
This is
DPW
page
admin.
29
Yep.
in the book.
So-
And then on the screen, Jeffrey has the breakdown, but I do not understand what I'm looking at.
Hey, Mayor?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hold on, before, not everything is on the screen. The recommended by
Scroll to right,
mayor's
Jeff.
line is over here. If you can scroll it over a little bit. All right, there we go. All right, so this top position here, that's for the director's position. That's a little less money than what was budgeted last year, and it's more money than what I'm currently receiving. Thank you, sir.
It's not in the book.
No. And okay, this
is the backup to the book, so you could see the breakdown of the personnel lines. What's in the book, the expense lines are all broken down. What you guys are having a hard time getting over is having all the personnel in one line. So that's what that's for.
Right, but
Which-
there's no money in the book.
What do you mean? Right here, it says DPW admin, personnel services. Yeah,
There's nothing there.
Yeah, I have the PDF version of the book open in front of me.
Well, here. Just saying, it has little lines.
Make sure you read it.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys talk.
Tax overtime, so.
Right. So we're looking here and there's nothing there. Just saying.
This is the change from the adopted. So all the lines are in here, the recommended, so the 447,000.
Right.
Yeah, so all the DPW personnel from the admin budget is in that 447. This is the backup document that breaks it down line by
Right,
line.
but we've been seeing the pay line up here, and somehow it got merged in under the overtime.
Have a good evening.
So that's your, okay,
That's overtime supervisor.
right. But I'm just saying, we were looking at it at the top, but I see what you're, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So if you're looking at the book, you'll see DPW admin, that's where we are.
Overtime.
Under personnel services, the first line says overtime supervisor on call, and the next line says pay.
Right, usually it's been the first line.
That-
That was the
yeah.
confusion.
The pay, you'll see a combined total of 447,542. That is the combined personnel lines of everyone in the admin office. What's there, which I understood was emailed or something, is the backup that breaks down all those personnel lines, which
right.
includes the director, the admin,
Right.
manager, and everything else.
Yeah, that's what we're used to getting, yeah.
Which is kind of just.
But in the book, besides that one pay that everyone's talking about, everything else is broken down line by line. The
Right.
family, the longevity.
Right.
Expenses, everything in the expenses is not all consolidated, it's line by line.
Right, it's just that all the other departments had the pay on the first line, and this one was merged in, so we didn't catch it.
Got it.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, I guess, on admin?
Is this still city engineer line? I'm sorry.
No, it's below it, we're on admin. So I was gonna go to the next page, which is 30, unless I see any questions.
So admin is going up. The difference between current fiscal year and the proposed is $26,686. It's going up about 5.5%. And that's mostly the contractual for the personnel's pays.
Okay. All right, so page 30, any questions? DPW city property.
So on the city property budget, you'll notice at the bottom, it's going up about 163,000. Mike, is there a highlight in the city property budget you want to make note of?
The request been put in, restore a previously cut position of a building maintenance man. We're contracting out for a lot of smaller repair work and not always having somebody to like respond to different issues that'll come up from time to time. And we're trying to get a handle on some of these other repair works. We have a lot of older buildings, and sometimes if we had somebody that could do the repairs in-house, so you wouldn't be spending as much on the outside contracted services. Also of note in the building maintenance line and on the personnel area is the senior building custodian is now being transferred into the Department of Public Works building maintenance line. For years, that position had been working for the city and the DPW, but coming out of the War Memorial's budget. And that goes back to a day when the War Memorial Building needed 2 custodians back when the Council on Aging used to be in the basement of the War Memorial. And for some reason, the senior building custodian position always still remained out of that building's budget, even though the position had not been actually working out of that building for quite some time. I mean, he'll still do work over in that building when necessary. But but those are some of the changes if you look in the personnel lines there.
Okay. Councilor Bacon?
I just want to comment, it looks like you reduced your contracted services line because you added the position. Is that related to that? It looks like the contracted services got zeroed out. The 43,600. So I was wondering if that was an offset.
It
looks like it is, but-
That 43,000 is the actual from fiscal year '24.
Right, but there's nothing in the budget, so.
Not for
it's looking
25,
like You're
not for
not
26.
expecting to use it for maintenance this year. Right?
Right.
So, but you've been using a contract for it this year, so.
The '26 budget adopted, it's zero.
Yeah. There's like all the different buildings.
Must be coming out of a different part of the budget.
All the buildings have breakdowns for have budget lines.
Okay.
And like various purchase orders that are they're done for like some like there's a contract goes out every year for an electrician and a plumber.
So we can't see the offsets because they're all spread out like the Forester thing?
Just see if it's more spread out with the city buildings. And that's, the city building maintenance is another work that myself and the mayor and Rory have discussed with the purchaser, like when a contract is created for for every year for like, there's the heating and cooling contract, the electrical contract, for these type of works that need the licensed professionals for these very specific issues. A purchase order will get created and then certain amount will get encumbered to each building's line.
Okay.
And
so-
our goal going as we move forward, as the mayor's addressed before, we're trying to move some of these things into being a more efficient and flexible model for us.
So if you can, so we're looking at added expenses of 116,000 to bring in a new position and probably raises. So is there an offset that you can generally speak to that we would be decreasing our contracted services by? If you look at the whole budget?
When an example like a minor repair on a door.
Right, so over the year.
Those things, and I do need to point out, like, really only one position is getting added back that was a position that existed for years and was cut off for last year. The senior building custodian position is the only thing happening with senior building custodian is that that position's being moved from the War Memorial Buildings budget to the Public Works budget.
Right, and I'm with you on that.
Position still exists, and the person is still working.
No, that's, I'm all good with that, but my question is, once you get this person in place, how much of an offset do you think you'll be able to gain by using a contract less? Will you be able to save $20,000 by bringing in this new person, or more, or less?
I'm hoping to be able to save more and get more done, because currently with the procurement laws, anytime we have to hire out a contractor for any kind of service at all, we have to pay prevailing wage.
Yeah, okay. So you're hoping to
Mayor?
balance it out if you can?
Yes.
Counselor, the contracted services is not spread out through the budget. When it
Yeah.
comes to the building, if you scroll down, you'll see professional services. which is, was outsourced custodial services. And it was reduced significantly because we were working out some issues with the union contract where we had to pivot quickly and respond because janitorial services were needed. And so things are being worked out, and it looks like we're gradually filling that in. So I cut it by 55,000.
So that's where it is rather than contracted.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
So contracted
Okay, that's all I
services
was looking for. Thank you.
was back in fiscal year 20. We haven't used that line for the
Yeah.
past couple fiscal years,
Because
but
it's under that other
it's under the
category.
professional services
All
line.
right,
That's right.
thank you.
Yes, there's been a lot of moving parts
Yeah,
over the
no, no,
last couple
I
of
hear
years.
you.
Any other questions on city property?
This, because I'm a new counselor, I just got one simple, I think it's a simple question, it probably it's not even appropriate, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So we have oil, gas, and electric,
Yes.
and they do stuff, like if I wanted my boiler fixed, oil, gas, and electric would come and do that. Same with, if I had an electrical emergency, oil, gas, and electric might be able to help me with that. Why can't they help the DPW with that?
They help us from time to time, but I don't know about boilers or anything like that, but when it comes to installing, upgrading our electrical lighting in our public buildings and whatnot, they help us.
That's so, why don't we use them more? We're paying somebody anyway.
There's also in some of what gas and electric does, you think along the lines like, the city, we own a parking lot down on the corner of Main and Spring Street. There, the light towers there, we have to, when there's work that has to be done that requires an electrician, we have to hire an electrician. The linesmen, they're not electricians. It's a whole, there's certain things that the law requires us to hire certain contracted services that we cannot always just ask the gas and electric to go take care of it.
That's the answer, because I remember when I was a homeowner, if I wanted my boiler checked out and actually fixed, if I needed it, oil, gas, and electric would do it, even replace it. So why can't they do that for our buildings?
Yeah, whenever there's a need that G&E can step in, first we try to see if it can be done in-house internally, and then we expand out. If we have other like G&E or whatever, sometimes we'll talk to our own electrical guy from the building department, right, and see what we can do, and then there's outsourcing.
So what is his skill set, the electrical guy in our building department?
Well, he's actually the electrical inspector.
Oh, there you
So
go.
He's the person that has the knowledge and can answer what direction we had going.
That's a different.
Very limited.
That's a different
but
horse in our game.
we still consult with them.
Now makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, we did DPW and highways, which is page 31. I don't think we did DPW auto equipment maintenance underneath that on page 31, did we?
No major changes there either, just it's a 3.9% increase, which is $25,769. I do want to make note though, and it was brought up to my attention too late, and it's been ongoing. You've probably heard before from previous chief, police chief, previous director, the auto mechanic at PD, where do they live? Is it the DPW budget? Is it the police department budget? And I've always told the two department heads, come to a consensus and then let me know what you guys want to do. It sounds like to me that there'll be a request later to have it under the police department budget, but not anything we need to focus on right now as far as this auto equipment maintenance, DPW auto equipment and maintenance budget is concerned. It's in the DPW budget right now.
Yeah, it's a DPW position, and yes, the other wrinkle, of course, is that that kind of move, it's in the laborers, the position is in the laborers union contract. So there's always those details that have to be worked out.
I see Councilor Rivera has his hand up.
Yes, thank you. I have my question is twofold. One is has to do with this, and then the other one, I don't know if we passed it. And I was just, if we haven't yet, then I'll wait. But if we have, then my bad. I guess I must have walked out. So the first thing here with the mechanic, if it were, I mean, you know what? Leave that alone. So right now, it currently lives with us, and then in the future, it might live with the police. That's the that's the crux of it, is what I'm understanding. Correct?
Police is us. You mean DPW?
I mean, no, police is not us. I meant DPW. I'm not police. Everybody's not police. Only certain people are police. But
I
yes,
know,
DPW.
but the
I know what
mechanic
you
is
mean.
not with you. With you, it's with the DPW.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Either with
So
DPW
right,
or police. So right now it lives with DPW, and then in the future it might live with police.
I, Counselor, I don't know if the room can bear it right now, but I could give you, everyone, a detailed
Nah, we
history on
don't.
that
We're good.
position too.
Nah, I
right,
appreciate that.
right now it's with the DPW.
That's
Yes.
it. That's it. Simple. That's thank you. And then the next the other thing was about, because I heard something about a second engineer position that we're trying to hire for. If we pass that, I apologize, but if we haven't, I'll wait.
We did.
We did or
Go ahead.
no?
Go ahead. Yeah, we did, but go ahead.
Okay, so I guess I must have heard that one like in the hoopla of me switching. Um, I guess don't we have? I guess the question I had there is, we have an engineer already in in that works for us, and then we have one that we contract for. If we can hire for someone already while we're contracting for someone, why why would we need to allocate another set of funding to hire a new person?
So the position that oh, remind me of the position again.
The current position,
The shared deputy director.
Hold on. The city
engineering,
council associate position.
yes,
Okay.
senior civil engineer position.
Hold on. So there's the associate position that we haven't been attracting anybody to fill it. Meanwhile, we've been outsourcing. Our city engineer has been working together with an outsourced city engineer. The outsourced city engineer, we are spending a significant amount of money. And so the idea here is, if we can attract the associate, and I think that's the wrong title, then let's get rid of the associate position and hire a same caliber city engineer position. And then that way we're not outsourcing and spending as much with the outsourced engineer. And so the impact to the budget with that shift is, going back to the city engineer, is about $37,000-ish, considering that, that associate, where we pivoted that money and then making up, trying to budget for the difference to get a higher caliber, so we can actually attract an engineer and save money from outside contracting services.
But if I remember correctly, we took, I think it was senior engineer position. I think that's what it was called, or whatever it was. We took that
Yeah.
position and we combined it with the DPW thing to make it like an associate DPW director slash city engineer, because of that same exact situation, because we couldn't really hire anybody. So to make it more enticing, we combined the positions, making it easier. And we have that, and I think somebody's in the role now currently, right? So while we have that person and we have the other, so I guess my question is when we're recruiting, when we're in the budget for this not new, for rehiring this engineer, is it an added amount of money, or is this a position that's being held at like a $1 amount to hold the position, and then when it gets hired, then automatically the money comes out of what we're paying the consulted person, if that makes sense?
All right, the city engineer, the current city engineer is, job title is city engineer slash assistant director.
We just made
And,
that, just to be clear,
that
not too
bad?
long ago.
that's been.
No, hold on, time out.
Isn't that-
We didn't just make that. That's in the charter. The city engineer is the assistant director of the DPW.
Isn't that Matt Soka?
Right.
Okay.
That position's it's been that way for approximately,
Wait.
roughly 20 or so years. That was done under the Sullivan administration. That change was made after Mr. Rundle retired as the city engineer. That's when they rolled the city engineer position into the Department of Public Works.
Are
And
we
that
saying we
was-
didn't make a change a couple of years ago from the director
No.
of DPW to not be a city engineer anymore? Because that was also required through charter?
To my knowledge, no.
We removed, what we removed from the DPW was that the DPW, we changed it from superintendent to director, and we removed the requirement that said the DPW superintendent had to be an engineer.
There it is. Thank you. Okay. So okay, so I guess for me, but going back to my question is, when we're recruiting this engineer or where we're hiring for this engineer, is it like a new set of money, is a new line item, or is it something that's that has a placeholder, so when you hire it, then it replaces the money we have budgeted for the consultation, which is way more, that automatically backfills the person we hired?
The Counselor, the current fiscal year that we're ending, fiscal 26, the position we're talking about upgrading is senior civil engineer. I want to say that we had gotten it so far as to bring the budgeting for that position up to $90,000 or $100,000. And if you look, I think the last 11,000 of the money budgeted for this fiscal year is going to come across your agenda for transferring it out. All the money for the senior civil engineer position this current fiscal year has been transferred out. The majority of it to pay for the contracted engineer that we've been hiring throughout the course of the year.
So going into the new fiscal year, Counselor, we're moving away from the senior civil engineer. The money that was there, we're pivoting to attract a second city engineer. And so the difference is roughly $30,000 to fund that second.
I understand that piece. I guess maybe you guys don't understand what I was. How much a year do we know it costs to have the consultant? Let's do it this way. How much do we pay for the consultant this past fiscal year? Do we know that?
I don't have the numbers off me, but I feel like we're hitting like 300 grand.
Right. So if we're hitting 300 grand for that position, what I'm saying is are we literally budgeting whatever it is that we want to pay that person, or are we the new person, that position that we want to create or bring on or upgrade or whatever we're calling it? Are we putting that as a $1 amount for now with the hope that if we hire them, that the money that we've budgeted for...
There's no $1.
No, it's there. The money's in the budget.
The money's in the budget for the second city engineer.
Right.
It's already in the budget, and so then is the money for the consultation already in the budget?
So if you go down to the expense section, you'll see professional services recommended budgeted of $150,000.
Yes. So that's for the consultation.
That's for the outsourcing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that'd be a $150 for the outsourcing, and then the money that's also already budgeted for that position on top too.
Well, if you're trying to think about new dollars, remember, we're moving away from the senior civil engineer that we have budgeted for, that no one has taken on that role. And so this new budget, we're not funding the senior civil engineer. We're moving that to the second engineer plus an extra $30,000 or so we can fill that position.
So it'll be 130 plus the 150 for the consulted services. I guess that's what I'm asking.
Actually,
Is like,
you have the breakdown behind you. There should be. Hold on.
Could we go back to the engineer page?
yes, we did.
So you see where it says 130,000? That's so crap.
He can't hear you, so I just.
I can hear a little bit.
No, go ahead.
So, yeah, so the second engineer, it's 120, it's being budgeted at the 120,937,000.
Yeah.
That's what that second engineer is being budgeted for.
Yes, and the consulting services is the 150 too. So then,
Correct.
Right.
so I guess for me, it's like, do we have to do the 120?
So
Because if we're still hiring, right? Let's say we hire someone in November, that means we no longer need the consulting services.
well,
That's
it's not
the
that we no longer need it. We're not as heavily dependent because we're talking about Victoria, the contractor.
Yeah.
So she's specialized and focused on the MassDOT related projects, the TIP projects, and then also, right? Everyone taps into Victoria. Between Matt and Victoria, we're treating her like a second employee, and so we're putting them on overdrive here, and her rate is an expensive one. And so we're spending more than 300,000. The old budget, which is our current, if we're spending over 300,000 and we have about 70, 80,000 for civil engineer, you know what I mean? Now we're, compare that to what we're proposing, we're looking at a savings.
Right. I understand that. But I think that for me, it's more about, can we cut it now? And if you need it later, you come back and ask for it. Because ultimately it's like, if the goal is that we want to hire someone and unless Victoria, and not to say it that way, the position that she's filling in or the consulting services is long-term, then that's different. But if it's just temporary as it was ideally designed to be, then whenever we do get someone else, the idea is to transition and have this person take on most of the stuff that Victoria is doing.
Where do you want
Because
to cut? Professional services or
I'm just asking questions so that when it comes to that day, I can figure out where to cut, whether it's professional services or if it's that engineer position,
Yeah, so
like some of that one.
there might be opportunity there because this dollar amount is contingent on if whether or not we can land somebody by July 1 to make a full fiscal year. And that's assuming we even, negotiate $120,000 salary, right? So if they start November 1, now you have a surplus. So you can make that cut, if we need it, and you make the cut, we can come back, it's that shell game. So it really is up to you guys, what you want to do.
I have Counselor Bacon's hand.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, all right, never mind. All right, I want to keep things moving. It's almost 9:00, so I will keep going to page 32. Well, does anyone have any other questions about, we were on auto equipment maintenance. I don't see any other questions, so we're going to keep moving to page 32 is DPW trash collection. That's the first half. Is there anything that you guys want to mention?
So trash collection, just to, $103,000 increase or 4.3%. Mike, do you have any high-level highlights?
Yeah, an unfortunate highlight is the cost of recycling keeps going up. And that's there was a time where we used to get.
So of that to the recycling contract, the total in the trash collection is 103,000. The recycling contract's going up 51,000. So that makes up for half of that increase. Go ahead.
That's about right, yes, sir.
They're doing a hell of a job, the trash collecting. Let's move on.
All right, I'm not seeing any other questions on DPW trash collection. I don't see any online. Municipal parking facilities is the second half of page 32.
So this one's interesting. What's there is business as usual with little increases here and there. However, we are actively reviewing 3 separate bids that were submitted for outsourcing management of the downtown parking management and enforcement, which we're going to be coming and talking more about soon as we try to wrap up that process. But other than that, there's it's fun. Instead of 2 enforcement, actually, an important note, instead of funding 2 enforcers, there was 1 open position, so we cut that and maintained the current one, understanding that we're trying to transition out from the current arrangement of downtown parking management.
You hit it perfect.
Okay.
Counselor Bacon?
I'm just a little confused.
That's
because
go
I
ahead.
thought we were all happy with the guys that were going and doing whatever they were doing.
So it's not just that, it's managing the
lots
entire.
themselves. That's been a problem since we fixed them.
We want to outsource management of the parking garages, as well as we're going to upgrade the
Meters?
parking infrastructure,
Okay.
the meters, the technology. We have been in this procurement process trying to assess what are the limits and capacities these firms can do, because we're trying to figure out if whether or not we keep enforcement internally. Maybe they might be able to do enforcement. How much is that? Maybe they might want to hire our guy, or maybe he's a laborer, so we can repurpose him in other
Oh, yeah,
open
no,
labor
I'm not making
positions.
an argument for it. I
Yeah.
just wanted to understand it. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah, so-
I'm not,
Yeah, it basically didn't make sense for us to if we were to fill the vacant position and then in 6 months, everything gets outsourced. At least the current employee that's in the position, Carlos, he originally was a heavy motor equipment operator. He used to work on.
so you want him back.
He worked on trash, and then he also worked on highway. He would have rights to to roll back
All right.
into a previous position.
But that's the added cost is that the 100,000 that you're talking about?
Say that again.
For the contracted services, is that what?
No, so
Oh, no?
so what has been budgeted there in 26 was the security.
Oh,
That's what that is. But again, that's and we'll continue to do the security services, but it's when the new contract comes in, this budget as we've been operating under would pivot into the hands of the contract services, and we won't be overseeing security or any of that.
okay.
Yeah, but right now, what you see there, that 81,000, and then now it's even at, was for the security services at the garage during certain hours, because we were getting a lot of complaints about.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay. So I guess what I'm just not seeing is where's the 26% increase coming from then?
Yep, so you'll see, it looks like here, parking facilities, energy, gas, oil, electric went up 5,000, another 3,000 in, says
Because it's not in the
energy.
personal services, yeah.
Yeah, it's in these energy lines. And then in the contracted services, it looks like about a $20,000 difference or an increase.
That's where the 100,000 is, yeah. Okay. Just looks funny, but whatever. It is what it is.
Did I see I thought there was a hand up
So,
online.
you know, the security is, yeah, the 100,000 is for the contract, yeah. Security is about 81,000, but considering that, you know, we are reviewing these contract proposals.
So it's considering.
It can be, yeah, so, you know, if you want to look for things to cut, I mean, there's nickels and dimes there.
That's what that's in consideration of, or.
Just make sure your microphone.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But that extra 100 is in consideration for the contract.
Yeah, 'cause it's-
Potentially, 'cause
there's-
it might happen in the year.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Councilor
All right.
Rivera?
Yeah, I did have my hand up, but I put it down. But I put it back up because just around the contract itself, does it sound like it's going to cost us to hire someone to do that stuff for the parking, or is it going to cost us in the beginning? But then once revenues start coming out from parking and all the other stuff, it should offset itself. Like,
Right, so ideally, we wanted to. I don't have the revenue numbers and what we collect. I would imagine that, you know, there's still gonna be an expense on our side, but we want to maximize on every revenue potential to sustain the contract. But those are the things that we're reviewing right now as we speak, Counselor, and trying to get them to put a proposal together that meets exactly what we need and understanding what that dollar amount is going to be, and then comparing that to what we collect, if whether or not it'll offset it 100%, if there's a difference that we need to subsidize, things of that nature. So those are more conversations that are coming.
thank you. And I only say it because I know that we had like a parking study or a parking plan.
Right.
And for me, it makes sense, like, to kind of follow or at least try to pay attention to what we paid for in that plan. And not to say that that's not what we're doing, but like ultimately, like we've been swinging and missing with regards to revenue around parking. And I think that even if we collaborate or put whoever we're working with, if we could find a way that even if we're getting pennies on the dollar from that, it would help us covering the costs around parking and all the other stuff too as well. But thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, so that's it for this evening's budget hearings. Thank you, Mike, for being here. Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow night.
Thank you. Good night.
Counselors, thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Mike, for all your hard work on this, getting your arms around a lot in a hurry.
Mike, thanks a lot. Doing a good job. You can put up with us. Put up with us.
Good night, kiddo. Safe with everybody.
You too.